So far, the crew has cleared every hurdle naysayers have placed in their way. Columbus would be home to one of the 10 inaugural teams. Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans. Well, it's going now.
Hello, welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is the Upper 90 Club, a roundtable podcast where friends discuss the Columbus Crew. On this episode, we review the tie that felt like a loss, the loss that felt like a Norwegian headbutt. We're going to read the internet. It's All-Star Week, guys.
Woo! Chippity!
Nice. You did exactly what I wanted because I'm in control. We're going to review our scintillating...
Yeah, snug it in there.
No an echo?
Great tip. That was a great tip. Now I'm like, are you trying to screw me up?
Oh, yeah. The whole episode, I'm just going to keep interrupting. Did you take your Zoloft?
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're gonna talk through this. It is All-Star Week, so it's kind of weird, but not unlike the week itself and the happenings here in Columbus. With me in the club are Ben, Trey, and Haas. Say hey, guys. It's
awkward pause there.
What's funny is like I'm unable to just use my eyes and speak to say who is here. I have to deprogram by just saying everyone's name. It's like, who's not here? Mort's not here.
No,
he's in Arendelle with the cast of Frozen. They are they're over there surfing,
which seems bananas.
In the mountains.
He keeps sending these pictures of Windows desktop background photos.
No, I'm pretty sure that he's like generating AI. Like that's all it is AI images and videos. More, it's like I'm on vacation, guys. Really?
Yeah. He's in Orlando.
Isn't this country the best of all countries?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, we've been seeing. He has been in touch. They have access to technology there. Also, we've been seeing they're putting up the miles there, and more on that later in the Run Club update. But
he was also just texting us, and it's 4 a.m. there.
Is that what it is?
6 hours ahead.
I was literally like, why is he up?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like,
he wants to be here. He wants to be in the club.
I'm guessing that Stacey is up and running, and Mort's with her.
No.
She doesn't get up till 6 there to run.
All right.
I don't know this.
So first things first, Ben, you were a part of some of the pregame happenings on Monday, right? There was like a SoccerWise live podcast.
Oh yeah.
Was that at Land Grant?
Yes. What sucked, I came late because I was at band practice because we have a show in a week. But I showed up late and it was already done. Christian Ramirez had already left. That's their podcast is already up with him. It was awesome. Like when I showed up, there was like a bunch of people there. Right when I walked in, Ravi was there, and he is the nicest human being of all time. Like I don't think I've met him in person, and he just gave me like a big hug.
Well, you were trying to meet him, right? To sell him a guitar?
Yes. Yes. He stole my car.
All right. You'll have to go back and listen to our interview with him. What's his role with the Nordica? He's is it partnerships or?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. Chris was there earlier. He does the communication. Yeah. But he left by the time I got there. So when I showed up, and everybody on this pod's like huge fans of Tom and Goss from SoccerWise. Like we followed them. I know Trey and I followed them like way back.
Tom Bogert is like the go-to Scoops man, right?
Yeah, Tommy Scoops. But yeah, I knew they were going to be there. I definitely wanted to meet up with them. I wanted to say thanks for coming on the pod because Tom came on at the beginning of the season. So
right,
I ran it by Morgan at Supporter Supply, and he ran off 2 special like USA Dream Team Olympics jerseys, like basketball jerseys. They're awesome. You should see it online.
It's like the 92 Olympic Dream Team basketball jersey,
awesome.
But it says USA Soccer.
Yeah, they're
awesome.
Yeah. So he did one for Tom that said Scoops, and then he had one I wanted it all gas, no brakes, but Goss, like his last name, but it didn't fit, so he just put all gas, no brakes. Still super awesome, but they were pumped. Yeah, it was awesome. Everybody was hanging out. It was just great because we don't get out that much. Haas is, quasi able to. I know Mort gets out to the games and stuff like that, but I don't really get to go out that often. So, I got to hang out with Robbie. I got to hang out with Tom and David. Got to hang out with Keith Noss, who I talked to online a decent amount. And that guy,
but only under an unknown alias, right? You just kind of ask him about how his trip to Mexico was.
I just kept I actually talked to him about that. I was like, hey man, how was your trip? I should get you on the pod. And he looked at me, he's like, I don't.
You may know me as Cat Pants.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I didn't even introduce myself. I was just like, tell me about your trip to Mexico. Yeah. And he's like, who are you? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
But this was kind of like an extension of the All-Star game. Like all those guys, SoccerWise guys are in town because of the All-Star game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tom's doing some stuff for the actual MLS All-Stars. I know Goss is going to be at is it Whistle and Keg, right? That's where Supporter Supply and the Nordica are going to be prior to the All-Star game tomorrow, which will be today by the time this comes out. So if you can get out there before the game, I think kickoff's at 8. They're going to start being there at 3. I think Haas and I are going to try to be there around 4. 3 o'clock is the USA under-23 kickoff for the Olympics where they play France.
Oh.
Yeah, so
they kick off. US plays France in the first game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super bummer.
Opening match.
Yeah, France is stacked.
And I was not prepared for this. I've spent no time looking.
The U.S. is not prepared for this.
Is it? Well, maybe they wouldn't even know the answer to this question. Is there a group stage? It's how is it a tournament? It's not single elimination, right?
There's 4 teams. Two come out of it. This is one of 3 games they're playing. Okay. I think their next game is Saturday or something like that.
And it's against Spain.
No, yeah, it's Guinea, and I can't exactly remember.
Is it 3 teams in a group?
3 of them? No, I thought it was 4. I thought there was the 4th team in that group. But anyways, back to the land grant stuff.
Expected
it was
teams
awesome.
is 4.
Christian Ramirez was on, so they just interviewed him. That was their podcast. I only got through, I think, 15 minutes of it today, but I want to. I'll bring up some stuff later, probably about it. But it's really awesome, and we also got to meet some fans, which is awesome. Brogan and Aaron were there. He's been listening probably since the start. He's been an OG listener. Totally awesome dude. Him and his wife have been Crew fans for 2 or 3 years, and it's always weird just because we've been following it for so long. I just assume everybody in Crew Fanville has been like that. Morgan's OG, but it's awesome to see the newer people come out.
Yeah, I mean, there's evidence. There's evidence that there are new Crew fans because there used to only be 12,000 people going to each of the games. So, yeah,
and even less on Bally Sports. So, yeah, but he plays music in Paper Morning. And do you know Dave Booker and the Historians? Did you ever hear them? Because we know mutual people, but both of those bands
I'm sure I know.
Are phenomenal. Yeah. But yeah, the MLS, but also the MLS Apple people were there. Weeby was there. Neil Sika was there, made an appearance. So, I mean, everybody was out in full effect. And it was awesome because everybody was drinking and being candid. And it was just so much fun. Yeah. It was great.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I know we were kind of watching some of the skills challenge stuff before we got on here. This is Tuesday. This will come out on Wednesday, the day of the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not putting a lot of stock into this, although I think that the Crew it's got to be the most represented team on the field, probably by virtue of the coaches' picks. But we'll see how they do. Before we get into these 2 games that we had last week, just a quick shout to follow, like, subscribe on X and Instagram, Upper 90 Club Pod.
Do people call it X?
I just
You're
did.
the only one who I know that calls it X.
You know
Every
why?
time I hear it, I'm
you
like,
know why?
Because you love Elon Musk.
Because when I joined, it was X. You know, so like that's how late I was joined. Did you guys know I was on
He's
X?
never even heard of Twitter.
Yeah.
What is? You guys keep saying Twitter, and I don't know what you're talking about, but
About it.
I bring all of that up because we want to stay in touch with you, but also because we have some extra Aston Villa tickets. So we want to give them away, and we're going to do that by asking you to, what are we going to do? Retweet? Is that what?
Yeah,
is that
just
what it
like
is?
and retweet the.
Is it called retweet on X?
Yeah, they don't.
They still call it that?
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
And that game is this Saturday, the 27th.
Rex. Speaking of Rex, he's the one who's donating the tickets. So, Re-X the podcast thing that I send tomorrow and thank Rex.
Yep. And in advance, we can congratulate
Inui.
and Yui for winning them. He is our only listener.
That is correct.
Okay, so yeah, do that. Whatever you have to do. I don't actually know how to use X, so just do what Ben said, and we'll give you some tickets in a drawing. Let's get into the games here. Let's start with Charlotte. Trey, before I hand it over, anyone feeling differently about this Charlotte rivalry I was talking about last week? Are you guys feeling it brewing?
I'm all in.
I intended to go
all in.
while Trey is talking. Talk slow, Trey. I'm gonna look at our history with Charlotte, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about it after we review the game, because I have a feeling that they are thornier than you guys gave them credit last week. Trey, take it away.
Hey, what happened?
Facts that could save your life.
All right, July 17th at Lower.com Stadium in the capital city of Columbus, the Crew took on Charlotte in front of 20,793 diehard Wednesday night fans. Game started promptly at 7:30, and it was delayed for, I believe, about 45 minutes to an hour at halftime.
Surprise.
Timed up well with halftime.
And it did time up well, thankfully. God, moved that storm on through because, we had fireworks to attend to. So Haas, give us those lineups.
We do fireworks
every game.
Every game.
Every game. Yeah.
Freedom. Every game is freedom.
Okay.
Against Charlotte, we had Rossi, Cucho, Ramirez up top, Arfston, Nagby, Zawadzki, and Farsi across the middle, Amundsen, Camacho, Morera in the back, with Hagen in goal.
The Crew was not as dominant in the stats categories this game, but did have an advantage in possession with a 69 to 31% edge.
Nice.
20 total shots, 21 to 12, 9 corners to Charlotte's 1, shots on target 8 to 6, but somehow Charlotte led in XG with an advantage of 2.11 to 1.83 for the Crew.
We shouldn't say XG. It should just be like goal vibes, right?
And you forgot one that I like to look at: 614 accurate passes to 246.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Way. Yeah, not even close.
Root one ball.
All right, 31st minute, Crew at the goal. Haas.
Malanda is bringing the ball out of the back, pulls the ball back, and tries to pass out right to Westwood, but completely mishits it and gives the ball directly to Cucho. As Cucho gets the ball, Rossi makes a run and pulls Malanda away to give Cucho space to dribble into the semicircle and shoot with his right foot from the edge of the box, low and driven past Kalina. Crew 1-0.
He put the mall in Malanda. Duolingo reference.
He put this.
Where we at? Where we at?
Simi.
Well.
All right. So the Crew was lucky to get that one. They coughed it up. Cucho did what Cucho does and put it away well.
Gracias.
That took us through halftime. Coming out of half, 57th minute, Zawa with the yellow card. And then a couple of changes for the Crew. 79th minute, Yabo in for Arston. 80th minute, Matan in for Ramirez. And in the 84th, Haas, Make us mad.
Tuluma plays a long ball over the top down the middle of the field towards the 6'4" Agyemang. The ball and Agyemang get past Camacho as he grabs at his shirt, but he continues and gets past Hagen as Camacho gets back to make a sliding save, but the ball bounces directly back to Agyemang. He cuts to his right, gets Camacho to slide again, shoots with his right, and nutmegs Hagen for the tying goal.
It was coming. I felt like it was coming
as
before
the
that.
final 15 minutes, they were putting on the pressure.
As dumb as Hagen looked in that moment, he saved several.
Yeah, he did in both games, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, the issue, I mean, if you're going to come out, you have to make contact with it right there. And
Yes.
That's the only thing I'll say is that, like, I'm not going to bash the guy. I get it, mistakes happen, but
Him and Camacho were both bad
Right.
in that instant.
yeah, somebody has to play that ball out and then yell at the other person.
I mean, Camacho recovered. If he would have just stayed on his feet rather than making the second slide, he would have had a chance to help stop it, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good take, honestly. And like at that point of the game, they just went to route one ball where they were just like kicking it long to their absolutely massive players up top. And like, we just couldn't, we just couldn't handle it. So, I mean, fair play to them.
All right. 90+2, Nanti tries to make a couple of changes. You've got Russell Rowe makes his return from his marching duties with that team from way up north to sub in for Zawadzki. And that was it. With this result.
Did you say marching duties?
Yes. That's exactly what I said.
A little on the nose, but I like it.
Yep. With this result, the Crew moved to 12-3-6 and remained third in the Eastern Conference on 43 points through 23 games played.
Not great. Stats look decent, but the expected goals, I did feel vibey that they probably had better chances than we did.
I mean,
Like,
the first
absolutely.
half, we had 76% possession, 9 shots with 4 on target, and 375 accurate passes to their 97.
Stat-wise, that was probably our best half in Nazi's era, which is crazy because we've been dominating so many teams, but like on paper, they couldn't. Every time they got the ball, they just kicked it long, and they weren't connecting passes. They were just like kicking it back to our keeper, and we were just like rebuilding it out of the back.
Ramirez had a huge miss in the 66th minute where he could have settled the ball and scored, but he went with his head first touch.
His 2 games this week, he was just cold. He was not doing what he normally does.
No.
Just fine.
And some of those in these games.
Not being critical. Not being critical, but I talked whatever a week or two ago about how the difference between us putting up a goal or 2 at the beginning of this season and putting up 4 per game is just some of these like lucky shots, and
That's
just weren't seeing them this week.
Right.
Both of these games felt like that. Like, yeah.
No, I mean, this was definitely one of those games that, multiple opportunities of shots that should have been capitalized on. And the whole thing was the game felt like the Crew was going to get another goal, and then they relaxed for a half second, screwed up in the back, and gave it up. I mean,
There's a scary like 10, 15 minutes. So I was like, oh, they had a cross.
Oh, yeah.
That one of their players should have headed and put away, and he just didn't
At the
put it on
back
frame.
post.
Yeah, at the back post. I was like, whoa,
That should have been a goal
all
for sure.
sorts of disjointed. But, not a loss at home.
All right, so here's what I have to report. How many times do you think we've played Charlotte?
Impossible
4?
to tell. Okay.
That's not a bad guess.
5?
Yeah, so we played them for the first time on February 15th in the CAR Challenge Cup. I assume it's
Carolina
like
Challenge Cup.
Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina.
Yeah, it's like a
Where
preseason.
legends are made.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, they didn't have the Audi sponsorship, so it's just a car challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checks out.
We tied 0-0. Since then,
Cool.
our first 2 games against them were in the 2022 season were both ties. Also 1-1 in the first game, 2-2 in the second. But that second game was the one that we had to finish at a later date on October 5th, which was immediately before we tied or lost to Orlando and crashed out of the playoff picture with Caleb Porter. We led at 1-0 at half in that game. All right. And then Charlotte beat us in our first match against them last year. We beat them 4-2 in our second meeting. And then this year they've beaten us twice.
So 5 regular season matches.
Well, they beat us and we tied, but yeah.
Well, no, it's 6. It's 6. 2
and
and
they
22.
took Sands' knee.
2 and 23.
And we just played our second game against them and lost both this season.
Yeah. They took the Sandman from us, lest we forget.
Yeah. So
and there's always rain delays. That's another thing that like constantly happens with these teams, and it just we get just disoriented or something. You know, we're not in rhythm. It just never seems like we're in rhythm with them. But honestly, fair play to their coach. I felt like we got outcoached that game. Also,
the subs for Charlotte made a big difference in that one.
Yeah,
they got stronger
that mid to
in the
low
second
block
half.
and that like Route 1 soccer, we struggled.
Yeah,
and we did almost the exact same thing for Atlanta. They like copied and pasted.
Atlanta's another one of those teams. I mean, we've been playing pretty well against them, but we've had some good games against Atlanta over the last couple few years. I know I pissed Tommy off the last time we were talking about it, but
he texted me the entire game. He was front row.
That's what's his podcast is the
Scarves and Spikes.
Scarves and Spikes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He kept saying like, "You're gonna kill us." I think he put money again like on us.
Yeah,
but
so did I.
Yeah, it felt right.
Okay, so let's move to that. Let's move to that one. Trey, set it up.
All right, July 20th, 2024, in front of a reported 42,601 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's that. So
I said reported.
Yeah. So Tommy told me that game actually was what's the word I'm looking for? They boycotted it because of the ticket prices. So that's why no one was there. I was like, man, it's empty. And he's like, it's a boycott. Like, so 42, there was not even
they
half
sold that many
think.
Tickets, and then they
just based on but no one showed up.
They boycotted it for ticket prices. Was there like a surge for the crew?
Yeah, for them.
Really?
Huh. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like, why is it empty? I was like, your team's not that bad. And he's like, yeah, it's different. So I didn't realize they reported 42.
I didn't realize that we were hiking prices with our skills, spelled with a Z, of course.
What is it? The variable prices for tickets that they're doing now?
Yep.
Throughout the league?
Yep.
Crew doesn't do that. They just like put new stuff in the little. They put little
even
like
the Nordeca does it now.
No, it's surge pricing.
Nope. Like the drink.
Yep. Totally.
I love that.
Go ahead, Trey.
All right, 42,601 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which was reported. The weather was 70 degrees with rain, but that didn't matter because they play inside a dome where it is controlled to a temperature of 73 degrees. Haas, give us the lineups.
Against Atlanta, we had Rossi, Hernandez, Ramirez up top, Arfston, Matan, Zawadski, Farsi across the middle, Chaberco, Camacho, Marrera in the back, and Hagen in goal. Nagby moves to the bench, and Chaberco starts over Amundsen.
Yeah. Nagby stayed there all game. I wonder when the last time he just didn't play and wasn't injured was.
They had to save him for the All-Star game.
That's true, yeah. No, that makes sense.
But she didn't participate in the skills competition.
Thanks, Dong.
So, all right, Columbus with the statistical dominant performance leading into possession with a 69 to 31% advantage.
Nice!
Again. Total shots 16 to 13, 88% accurate passes, XG of 1.85 to 1.62, whatever the stat means. But Atlanta won the most important stat of the night with an advantage of 6'4" over the crew during corner kicks. 29th minute, Columbus with the or Chiberica with the yellow card. And 36-minute Columbus with the opening goal. Hawes, tell us about it.
Zawadzki forces a turnover in the Crew's offensive half, and the ball falls to Cucho. Cucho immediately passes out to his left to Arfston. He turns and plays a sprinting Matan down the left side, just outside the box. He dribbles into the box 1v1, cuts towards the end line, and drives a pass into the 6-yard box where Gazan makes the initial save with one hand, pushes the ball out, goes straight to Rossi between two Atlanta defenders. He's able to drive it in the open net with his right foot. 1-0 Crew, and this has me very excited at that point because I have a parlay of the Crew winning, both teams to score, and Rossi as an anytime scorer.
So that took us to halftime, and unfortunately after the halftime, your bet was null and void.
Yeah.
60th minute, Atlanta with the first of the double-double. Hawes.
See, but I was all right with this one because I needed both teams to score.
Couldn't you have just made those bets separately and not been so greedy?
Oh, the parlay's the way to go. It was only a $5 bet plus 360.
Sounds like it wasn't the way to go.
Parlays are the way.
We know that now.
60th minute. Corner kick taken, and Farsi lets Gregerson get by him right at the 6-yard box where he leaps into the air and gets his head on it. Gets past Hagen easily, but it's also basically impossible for him to stop when there's a header from that close in the box.
Yeah. Wait, who was guarding him?
Farsi was following him, and he stops following him right as he gets to the 6-yard box when he jumps up in the air.
Okay.
So,
let's just go on.
77th minute, Atlanta with the repeat. Hawes.
Another corner kick from the same side, and this is after they've had multiple others, I think, between the 60th and the 76th. Every one of them was scary.
Yeah.
Somehow, no one marks Gregerson the whole time. This time, Morera and Camacho get tangled so that neither of them are even able to jump to attempt to get their head on the ball in front of Gregerson. Farsi tracks him the whole time, but ends up tangled in a crowd of defenders, and it's basically the same exact header. I saw some clip somewhere online with the two headers being played at the same time, split screen, and it's
like what Cucho did, man. Only they both counted.
Yeah. All right. It wasn't good either way. I mean,
yeah. Whatever. We've been known to give those goals up. Set pieces.
I think
and
those were some of our first set piece goals allowed this season, if I remember.
We've been
correctly.
actually good this year on them.
Yeah, this year
they don't have a lot of corners. Typically, the other teams do. How many corners did they have? Let's see. They had 9 corners. Dang. Yeah. All right. Well,
they were laying them on thick there in the second half.
Okay,
and
take it easy, Hawes.
After they scored the first one, everyone was just nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Blood in the water, man.
All right. So 79th minute, you had JRR come in for Ramirez, Amundsen in for Chiburko. AZ, in his first action as a member of a Columbus Crew, came in for Farsi. And the game ended at 2-1 with Atlanta taking the home victory. With the loss, the Crew drops to 12-4-6, remains on 43 points through 24 played, and stays at third in the East behind now slumping Cincinnati.
Yeah. I mean, you said accurate passes. We had 523 to their 202. They had less passes than Charlotte, and we crushed Charlotte.
So maybe passing doesn't matter?
It's almost like stats don't matter.
Okay.
Well, like I said, there's one stat that does 6'4", and
Norway
round.
Yep,
Norway.
When our tallest players 6'1".
What is that place? More on that after the break. Let's get a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Hello, Adam Hernandez here, fellow Crew fan and Columbus-based artist, muralist, and designer. When I'm not making art, I'm looking at art. And when I'm looking at art, I want it to come to life. That's why I made my new augmented reality prints. What's an augmented reality print, you may ask? Well, I make my really cool psychedelic art come to life in the palm of your hand. Check out my website, ahernandezart.com, or at ahernandezart to learn more. They're really rad. Hernandez Art.
We're back.
Rose.
Why today is Tuesday?
Allegedly.
Ben, you ultimately, I don't know that I would have been able to make it Sunday. You killed our recording on Sunday. What happened?
R.I.P. dude.
I saw some text that I didn't really understand. I could read it. Would you want
I'm
me
not
to just read your
entirely sure.
text?
Did I? Yeah, because they probably didn't make any sense. I was hallucinating. I went, so I had a show in Cincy Friday, got home and went to bed around 3. I was supposed to go camping the next day.
Woke up at 7:35 a.m., drove to Mohican, got on a riverboat, paddled for 6 fucking hours and 7 miles.
Yeah.
Discovered Ruby had hand, foot, and mouth.
With it is a disease.
But your wife convinced you to stay.
Yes,
even
and brother.
With the family?
Yeah, the full family. 3 kids.
And then
one
the
and a
kids
half year old
didn't
with hand,
sleep
foot,
through
and
the
mouth.
night.
Definitely not.
And you're having 69,000 panic attacks.
Yeah, I couldn't get ahead. I was like on no sleep after rowing because they were like, we're gonna get there, we'll get rafts, and I was like, oh tight, I'm just gonna like get a little donut raft and get weird out in like a bay area, or like I didn't know what I was getting in for, but it's that like booze cruise that people have. And it's like the other thing is like you should not have taken kids. Everybody there was like blackout drunk, like throwing Jello shots, but my kids actually did really good. I can't complain about that, but man, camping.
But you can complain about the hand, foot, and mouth.
What sort of camping are we talking? Cabin camp?
No, like tent camping. So I put up a tent. Inside that tent was a pack and play, LOL. And then also it actually was like, because if I go camping, I hammock camp. I've got a hammock that has like a top, and I only hammock camp. It's the best. Yeah, it's the best.
You guys share a hammock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Banana hammock. We shared one banana
bunk
hammock.
bed hammock.
By the way, if you want to hang out with us tomorrow at 4:00 with banana hammocks, one banana hammock will be at Whistle and Keg.
Lighter person on top.
I'm the top.
Yeah, Haas is the top. So that's how that happened.
Did you end up getting the hand, foot, and mouth?
No, not yet. I have a headache right now, so anything's possible. No, I had it 2 years ago, and it was the sickest I've ever been. And then my feet scabbed over, like, oh man.
Yeah.
All right. But then I was like, yeah, no one gets it. Like, it's not a thing. And then everybody's like, I've gotten it. I'm like, I gotta stop reading the end.
All right. All right, we're back.
Got that.
Well,
hey, so there has been a lot going on. We could talk a little bit about those games. We kind of
don't want to.
Touched on a few things there before the break. I don't know how deep we want to go into the games. There's been a lot going on in Crew World, though. Let's get some thoughts and players.
Thoughts and players.
All right, first thing is Andres Herrera, new signing. Argentine
out of nowhere.
Right back. Yeah, why did they talk to us first? I don't know. He's a right back.
True.
And
yeah,
but not a DP. It's a loan, right? And we could buy. I think I saw something like 1 point something million to.
This is all just based on transfer market. The only thing I saw really online was somebody kind of reporting it. I know Brianna said it's not set in stone. Tom tweeted out something that just said that we're looking after him. Like it looks like it looks like it's in the works. He's an Argentinian, player who plays right back. We think it'll probably be wing back by what I've read. He's from River Plate, and if you don't know, River Plate's an absolutely awesome team in Argentina. A lot of like ridiculously good players have come from there. He's only worth under $2 million, so he won't be registered as a DP, we don't think. The current thing is a loan with an option to buy, and that's kind of all we know. But I mean, we knew going into this transfer window that the only true right wing back we had was Farsi. That was right.
Right. Do we have depth there? We
talked
about.
So I thought
maybe
so when AZ came
ago.
in. Yeah, when AZ came in, I was like, oh sweet, he'll be like a right-footed whatever. He's not right-footed. He's left-footed.
Yeah,
I completely blew over that.
We've got plenty of competition on the left side.
Yeah, yeah.
He's right-footed. He's 25 years old.
Because Sands is in the mix on the left side too, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah, naturally left-footed.
Yeah.
And
Didn't he
Arson
play
plays both, but like he's left-footed.
Didn't he play for Argentina in the last Olympics? I'm fairly certain he did.
The Olympics, I'm not entirely sure. I it's only what I read on the transfer market stuff because I didn't know a whole lot about him. But I mean, you had me at Argentinian for River Plate. Like those guys come in the league and typically ball out of control. So I love that he's not a DP. I mean, he's not an under 22, which is kind of weird because normally we do. I feel like we do. Like we try to get younger players. I mean, 25 is not old, but I don't know. Seems great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we'll now that we're in the window, these transactions can just occur, right? And they can start up. There's no waiting period.
Yeah.
The
Today they
transfer window-
dropped. Today they dropped some like random people. I know since he picked up somebody, I heard a bunch of other like stuff. I mean, it's people that I don't really follow or know from lesser known leagues, but it's like there are transactions happening. Like,
and it's open till what? Like, I don't remember when.
It just opened. I think it's at least a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure most people in Crew Nation know this, but Chambos can't play for us because they were still working on paperwork.
Receiving his, can't think of what it's called. I had it and I lost it.
Work visa?
Internet.
It's not that, but it's something else. There's always these hoops to jump through, and
waiting on the paperwork, like you said.
I'm going to go back to Herrera. Are you that high on him? I mean, there just isn't much of a track record with him. I mean, I know River Plate's a decent club, but they're sitting in 8th in the Argentinian league. So, I mean,
But historically, I don't know anything about him, but I know historically, Argentinian players that come to the MLS, a la Acosta.
Yeah. No.
A la like,
I know. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is that like it's not like a no name from a guy who's tearing it up. I think it's a solid pickup, and I hope he develops. But I mean, I'm just kind of a wait and see at this point because it.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
but again, I'm just judging it based on right back, right footed, right wing back. Like needed that Argentinian.
You just
from
judge
River
it based
Plate,
on the word right.
The fact
because
that
if he
we've
was
had
wrong,
that'd be wrong. Right.
That'd be terrible.
the fact that we've had all these open slots on our roster, and we're bringing players in, I think I'm a little excited about any player they're bringing in because Nancy's given it the green light. So
right,
he sees some potential somewhere. It's probably not going to be immediate, but
yeah, I'm assuming based on timing as well that this was a Bez thing to start with, right? Like, I mean, usually he was on the radar with Bez, so like I've trusted all the stuff that he's done. Speaking of, we can roll into the next part, which is Hinestroza.
Oof.
Yeah,
he's
so
on loan. So he punched somebody, he got a red card, and now he gone.
Yeah, he's so they
he's
said
on
on
loan.
loan.
Now he loan.
He loan. He gone. He loan.
He loan gone.
He loan gone. There it is. We made it. Echo Crew.
No, not yet.
But I didn't think they really gave. I mean, this is my opinion, and I'm definitely absolutely in the minority. But like, I didn't think they gave him that much of a run in with the team. But they must have saw something like, yeah, dude, this ain't working out.
So I agreed with that statement, except, well, no, I disagreed with that statement until I went and actually looked at the stats on the Crew, and it was something ridiculous. Like he had only played. I'm going to bring it up, but it was like hundreds of minutes. Like it wasn't even like a big number.
And I know he's
right.
I'm pretty sure he scored before Rossi. And I was just like, dude, we got a guy who doesn't play who's scoring before.
Forget
Rossi.
about the punch. This is a good thing for Hinestroza and could be a good thing for the Crew because
it's a loan.
No one has said whether there's an option to buy. At least I haven't seen anything. But if he's getting regular minutes with Atletico Nacional, that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the Crew. He needs minutes. He needs to develop. He needs to grow and mature.
So he played 346 minutes in 16 games for the Crew.
That's crazy. And I know he's flashy and fast, and we joke around here and there, but I mean, and he is super young, right? Like he's really young. So he still has a lot of room to grow. What's funny is I actually looked up today. I'm like, Atletico Nacional, like, let me take a look. And I was like, oh, they're first in the league. That's awesome. But they've only played 2 games.
Well, and
so
that's
not I was just like, oh, cool. Wait.
It's good on our end to be able to loan him to somebody like that, to a team like that. But I mean, like I said, 346 minutes. The person above him is Russell Rowe on 733 minutes, Matan 773, Yeboah 958.
So get him some minutes on the loan. He's 22.
Right.
And I actually think Chambos is going to slide in and fit, because I was wondering, I'm like, yeah, he'll be a new like pivot 8-6, but I have a feeling now he's probably going to be one of the top 3. We also didn't renew Matan's contract, and talking with the people on Monday, who know a lot more than me, it looks like he's actually probably gone, like by the time, because we're not going to renew his contract. So. And that being said, I do want to bring up in the Atlanta game where we played him alongside Zawadzki. Dude, that didn't work. Like the positioning was way off. Like that middle 2 has to be super tight. And we were so disjointed. And
he was getting forward. He was getting wide.
Zawa was on an island, and that's not how this system is set up. Like, because if he's on an island, there's nothing, you can't progress the ball. Like he kept having to go back, and I even said it in the text message. I'm like, look how he has to like shape his body because there's 2 or 3 people on him because there's nobody else around him. Because I mean, Nagbe and Zawa are always like 5 or not even 10 yards apart. But like Matan was just kind of all over the place. I know he probably gave free reign to like go find the game or like show up, but that's just not how we play.
Did that come up because you were wearing your Hail Matan shirt?
Yeah, I haven't taken it off. I was also wearing my Hail Matan underwear.
You're going to have it change it to say, like, where in the hail is Matan?
Yeah.
There were moments, though, while Morris and Nagbe were in the middle regularly, where all of a sudden Morris was getting out wide pretty often. So I do think there's something there where that's part of the scheme. But I agree with you recently with Zawadzki and Nagbe, where neither of them are getting wide. They're staying central the whole game.
Yeah, but I think that's something that's kind of a soccer IQ thing. Like I'd say probably soccer IQ, but also that was planned because whenever Morris gets the ball, was it on the right side? Like where
it was most of the time that I remember.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That's by design. But the thing is, when he got the ball on that side, no one was around him, and I think those are the games where we have exponentially more possession and we're more attack oriented. So we have Farsi pushed higher, and that means that their left wing or their left wing back has to mark him. So that just opens up a bunch of space. I think that's all by design, but the spacing was so poor and with Matan in there, and I just haven't seen it.
He also created the goal against Atlanta. I mean, I've got no hate towards Matan.
No, not
I would be fine with them. Well, again, maybe the number that they would have to re-sign him at. Yeah. But I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be upset if he stuck around. I'm not going to be all that heartbroken if he's gone.
Yeah, although I have a shirt, you know what I mean, that I like to wear. And I made a GIF.
Oh, I thought you actually had his shirt. Okay.
As a gift.
Yeah. For your daughter?
No. It'll be interesting. I'm kind of pumped up. Yeah, it's true. I'm pumped up to see Chambos play if he's playing in the top, like how he would mesh with, the guys up top, like what he's actually going to be doing.
Well, we've been freaking out about, Arston being like the 4th man up top, and the thought of having like the same kind of power coming from the right side. If Chambos is that man, then,
then shame on. I don't know. I've been trying to figure out something with his name, and it's like, yeah. Rest in peace, baby.
Yeah, I've got nothing. You did mention Morris, and he started playing with Boro, right?
Yeah. Yeah, before we hit the internet, there's just some notable stuff. Like Morris had his first 90 with Boro. I didn't see it.
Except preseason?
It was a preseason game. Yeah. They said and this is honestly, this is from another person, so I read a couple of different things. It looked like he was kind of lost. The game kind of got out from under him, but he like gained his footing towards the end and ended up playing well. But it's good that he played the full 90
That's what preseason's for.
Sure. So that's good. Taha played today for the U20 national team. He had 2 assists and a goal. And he looked amazing. And the other thing I read that I don't love is Schulte is not close, in quotations, to a new contract. So, but that's kind of to be expected.
Bomb yogurt scoop, or
is his contract running out?
Yeah, I think they're trying to renegotiate it.
He's
only making like 160, like 160 or something like that. But
1,000?
Yeah, no, million.
I thought they. Maybe I'm thinking of.
They pay
Morris
him in
was
white
a young
claws.
guy. They just redid and then shipped him off. But
yeah,
who else? In Nancy, they sealed up for a while, but I thought they didn't have a new contract with Schulte. All right.
Well, him and like Farsi and all them got a contract, like a new one, because they were making the league minimum at like 72 last year or something like that. So
he's got a base salary of $150K.
Yeah, that's not a
lot. But
he's
got 2 years. He's got 2 years on the contract, so we don't need to re-sign him yet.
Allegedly.
Okay.
We'll see. That price might. I mean, I guess ideally, what you re-sign him before the Olympics, just in case that price goes up.
We'll see tomorrow when they play France, because it could be like
could drop.
We don't have to do anything because I've got like Lacazette and stuff like.
Yeah, Nancy's like, good luck.
Tip of the hat,
as they say in
Bonjour.
How do
they
say "oh yeah" in French? We'll never know, and there's no way to know.
Yeah,
let's read the internet. Okay, so on Reddit, Fishbird said, "Huge away game in LA that everyone probably got pumped for, then fly across the country long ways to play." I think that's hot dog style. To play a home game 4 days later,
makes sense.
Then fly across the country short ways, hamburger style, to play an away game 3 days later. Now fly home again so half the starters can play in an all-star thingy. Team needs some rest, I think.
Yeah, good thing we're playing an unnecessary friendly on Saturday.
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
Non-starters.
Well, I think the EPL right now is suing for game congestion or like schedule conflict or something like that. Like the player union is doing something like that. But yeah, I put that in because during the SoccerWise, Ramirez kind of made reference to, he's like, yeah, man, like we got up for the LA game and it's like we flew home. We were home for like a day and then we have a game. And he's like, we were just zombies. Like he literally said, like, yeah, it was so hard for us to get up for it. I'm like, okay, cool. Because after last week, I was like kind of bummed. I was like, dang, man, like we're struggling. Cincy's also super struggling. Like a lot of teams, I just don't want there to be like have this separation with the different teams and because I know LA's, doing really well, New York's doing really well. And I'm like, man, I hope this isn't like a downward skid. And it just, putting it into perspective with Fishbert, nice. And even Ramirez confirming that, like, yeah, man, we're just tired. And it's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, I mean, skidding for 2 games after all we've been through this entire year.
It's a bummer week.
It's not a big deal.
It's a bummer week. Yeah. It's like we've had in the past several, like a month or two, just like historic results. And so it's easy to be like, well, why can't we have more of that? This is just kind of a little correction. And I'm not ready to say that the dream is over. So
can we just play Crew 2 against Aston Villa?
That'd be great.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
Yeah.
On Aston Villa, I saw, I think it was on X. You guys on X?
Dude, stop saying X. Hit us.
There was a
up if you know
whole
people's
Ozzy.
ads.
There was a whole
Name
Ozzy
them.
Osbourne Aston Villa ad. Did you see
Oh,
it?
it was pretty good.
Is there an Ozzy Osbourne? Oh, I didn't see it.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, and it wasn't Ozzy. It was what's his band?
Aussie.
Black Sabbath.
It was Sabbath.
Black Sabbath?
right? Wasn't
Biscuit?
it multiple members of Sabbath?
Yeah. But like, Ozzy. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah, like I kind of feel like you're you're kind of nitpicking me here. Like I don't know why you had to do that.
Well, because the
our
whole band's
local
in it. It's not
metalhead,
just
Oz.
Ozzy.
Yeah. All right.
I forgot he's a Villa fan.
Yeah. So maybe he'll
Wow,
be
I did
at,
not know that.
Maybe he'll be at lower.com.
He's from Birmingham, so that makes sense. Not Alabama.
Maybe he'll make the trip.
Birmingham?
Yes.
Yeah, we should get into that pronunciation. Maybe we could do like a pronunciation sting during the outtake. It's just Trey talking about burra.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Between
Bruh.
So you're not saying
180
I'm
and
hearing what
and
you're
bruh.
saying. I'm saying how you-
246.
I'm hearing what you're saying. I was like, am I saying it wrong? Bruh?
Okay.
I was like, Middlesbrough?
Yeah. Il y a un courrier pour vous.
Puissant?
No.
Okay. There's a Nordeca statement. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah,
'Cause
man.
we're reading the internet.
This was crazy. Yeah, you go ahead and read it because I didn't even realize this was like on the radar. I don't know why I missed this in
Is there a
internet
voice?
world.
Should I use a certain
Outrage.
voice? Chris Lamacchia?
Well, Lamacchia did it, which is so funny because actually somebody on Twitter was like, "Who wrote this?" And Chris is like, "I did. What's up?" It's just like, man, all right, cool, man. Like,
All right.
hell yeah.
I have a feeling
I'll do my Lamacchia.
He's got like a real deep voice.
I have a
Yeah,
feeling
okay.
you might have
man's
missed it
voice.
along with myself because we haven't ever attended a Nordeca meeting.
I did once.
Sure
right.
about
And
that?
we're not allowed though.
So the Nordeca, not
I dropped
not
off stuff and I
Lamacchia,
left.
but the Nordeca had this statement. Then we'll discuss. The Nordeca, during last month's meeting, met with members of the crew front office, expressed our support for the team's future participation in the Lamar Open U.S. Open Cup. We'll continue to lobby for the crew's senior team involvement in this historic tournament that bears the name of our founder, Lamar Hunt. I added that. However, we have no plans for the organized protest during the League's Cup at this time. We are committed to supporting our players on the field as they work to bring yet another trophy to Columbus.
Like, when did Chris Lamacchia
Nailed
from
it.
the Nordeca get here?
Nailed.
Whoa.
That just brings back memories of last week.
Yeah, it's like he's here again.
He's here like a ghost.
I love you, Chris.
Yeah.
It's like I've never heard him speak before.
I felt like that would be less offensive
kidding.
than me actually trying to do an impression of someone that
Dude.
I like. So,
Like Ricky Puig. Did you guys hear that guy talk? What is happening?
I'm assuming he sounds like a
Helium
mouse.
boy.
helium balloon.
Oh, that's exactly what he sounds like. But not like cool Mickey Mouse, like weird Mickey Mouse.
So
'Cause
I mean,
Mickey Mouse
so,
is cool.
Man.
He is cool.
Mouse
So let's boil it down. Let's boil it down.
He surfs in Norway.
Nordeca is saying that U.S. Open Cup is great, but they're not going to participate in protests.
Any type of
Yeah.
They prefer it over League's Cup because League's Cup. Is a
they're
money
pretty
grab.
much saying like, yeah, we get it, we support it,
Cash
but
grab.
also we're not organizing a protest against League's Cup in spite of the U.S. Open Cup.
But are there
And
protests going
the
on?
internet?
No.
We're
there's
choosing not
not.
to participate
No.
in because, like, yeah,
There is. There is. I texted Chris.
I signed up for X and I saw that there was
Okay. This through line of this pod. You're gaslighting me or triggering me.
It
The
seems
Musk
like
of Elon over there.
the people are very upset about this.
No, this is
the
this
people
is
on
a,
X.
a,
The people
a
on
damned
X.
if you do, a damned if you don't scenario. Because if the Nordeca doesn't release something then everybody complains that they're staying silent. And then they release something, and everybody complains about what they released. There is no positive. This is soccer Twitter going insane. I'm sorry. This is soccer X going insane and doing what they do.
My man.
It is. I don't care about the Open Cup. I don't like the Leagues Cup. Does that make it any better?
I disagree with that. So I hit up Chris and I was like, hey man, are they just upset because you guys aren't doing anything? He's like, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, well, are other teams, supporter groups organizing protests in the Leagues Cup? And he's like, yeah, some are. There's like 4 or 5. So I was like, okay, so people are doing it, and then they're turning to us and our leadership and going like, well, you stand with us, right? And they're pretty much saying like, yeah, dude, we hate it, but like, especially in this season, there's like only so much we can do. It's like, we're not going to organize a protest to just not show up and not support our players in the Leagues Cup just to prove a point. And I'm like, okay, totally get it. Makes perfect sense.
Do you think we should have an organized protest?
The Open Cup for the Open Cup?
No, I mean during the Leagues Cup.
I don't know how to do it. No,
it would be one of those things where they turn around and don't watch the game or something.
I don't think it does anything for the front office. It's
or don't show up.
The Save the Crew stuff did a lot of stuff in the background, but like,
what's the
the problem is like Save the Crew stuff.
Who's the victim of
the fans
of the of
the Open Cup
playing in
the Open Cup is the victim,
right? Because it's the longest lasting
and the villain
U.S. tournament.
The villain is MLS.
And we talked about this earlier, and we're in, like I said, Trey's in a minority on that. Like, we're divided, but at the end of the day, we were marching out our Crew 2 people against Pittsburgh and losing. But that, on a team level, that's like, all right, cool. But it was fun to watch, and it is fun to see these teams like New Mexico come out and play really well, and then play LA and have a chance to like. That's the whole point of this entire thing. Like,
things can be two things.
Have those upsets.
The issue with that is yes, we were rolling out crap teams against Pittsburgh and Indy 11 and Charleston Battery and all this other stuff, and the team was clearly not putting it as a high priority.
Right.
But a lot of that has to do with the fact that MLS was bringing these other tournaments in, adding a lot of fixtures, and then making it a less priority based on money, prestige,
was also a different coaching staff for the Crew at the time.
It was, yeah, but I mean, MLS did not prioritize this tournament whatsoever. So,
because that's the crux of the entire thing,
right?
Is that Don Garber and MLS is trying to crush the Open Cup,
right? Which they've successfully done. But at the same point, NASL, whatever league, lower league, hasn't. I mean, what did we go back in the past? What was it? 30 years? There's been like 2 teams that have made it to the final that are not MLS teams.
Yeah, but that's not what it's about.
That is exactly what it's about. If you're going to tell me this is an underdog story, then the underdog at some point needs to do something.
No, it's the cities that don't get to have these teams. Like, we live in Columbus and we have a professional team. We've had it since '96. It's been great. But these teams in like, in Indy 11 or New Mexico, and like the people that are in those would love, like I would love to see like the Galaxy come play my team in New Mexico if I was in New Mexico.
Would you though?
Pittsburgh.
So that's it. Oh, 100%. Oh, if I lived in New Mexico and my local team got to play a bigger team, it is a massive deal.
That's a big market point of view though. That's looking down at the little guy and going, "You're just happy that we come, and we're not coming anymore, and now you're upset, and that's bad for you."
Pittsburgh and Detroit.
Yeah, but that's Don Garber. You're taking.
I'm not taking Don Garber's side. I'm taking the little guy who's going, "Yeah, dude, take your league and go F yourself." We'll play over
Pittsburgh
here.
and Detroit loved beating the Crew.
Sure.
So did Cincinnati when they beat the Crew when they weren't in the MLS.
Sure.
So I see the fun.
and they hang their hat
I
on that.
enjoy the U.S. Open Cup.
It was the
It can't be both.
day in
That's all that
Cincinnati
matters.
soccer.
They sold out
But the
Nippert
thing is, like,
Stadium.
if the Crew were in the Open Cup and regular season and in CCL and in Leagues Cup and playing, the Campeones Cup and all this stuff, it's like we're already congested as all get out. So like the people that aren't in those cups played in this tournament, the Open Cup this time. So it's just weird. It's like we had talked about it before. It's like, man, either prioritize the Open Cup and put money behind it, which you haven't, which made no one care about it because you didn't care about it. And you made CCL a thing. And it's like, I don't really care if we play
that's
Costa
the
Rican
pre-court.
team. I could
that's
not
the
care less
pre-court
if we played
argument, which
Costa
is where I get stuck on this, is that like the business metrics behind it is supporting it by saying, well, we didn't care about it. Well, you didn't show up. You didn't support this tournament. So now we're doing these other tournaments. And that's the exact same thing Precourt did to us when he said business metrics, because people don't show up. This team or the city can't support this team.
Well, that's why people are upset.
Which is why I think it's crap in terms of the MLS didn't prioritize this tournament, which killed the tournament. But now that the tournament is dead.
Yeah, because it didn't make them money.
And when you say pre-court, you could also fill in
It's
Don
not
Garber's
dead.
name there
Sure.
as well. Because it's really...
I noticed no one here mentioned the Char Challenge Cup.
Let's move it along.
No, it's fine. I mean, I just don't put it on Nordic to organize a protest. If people want to protest and don't want to go to the games, don't go to the games. It's fine. Like if you want to protest in your own way, do it. Show the team, show MLS.
Go to the games
where your money is.
Bring banners, bring two sticks.
You can't get in with them.
Make it something.
And for the
Paint
love
your
of
chest.
God, buy a
under
New
your
Mexico
pants.
United
Put
jersey.
it in your pants.
Okay, one more item on.
I don't know. There's just different ways to do it, and putting it on the organization of the Nordeca to like organize protests.
I think that most of
in
the
spite
hate,
of Leagues Cup,
most
it's
of the
like,
hate
you're
that I
asking
saw toward this statement was from non-Crew fans, right? I mean, the spiciest thing I saw was like, something along the lines of, your team was going to move and we saved you, and now where are you? Like when they came after my team, I wasn't in the MLS. And,
I saw that.
Jesus's footprints or something. There was, there's a cross stitch of the tweet somewhere, but
Don Garber was carrying us.
Yeah,
to ATX.
What did I say?
To MLS.
Oh, cross stitch.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh, good one. Good one. I like that. Okay. Speaking of Tom Bogert,
Tom said kill the Open Cup.
Speaking of scoops from your brain.
Yeah. Tom said
okay, this is much worse than what
I would
said.
Right. I was gonna say what I would consider a more concerning comment.
100%.
We've kind of buried the lead here. Columbus Crew manager Wilfred Nancy, when asked about the vacant U.S. men's national team head coach job, said Columbus Crew manager Wilfred Nancy, when asked about the vacant U.S. men's national team head coach job, said, "We're all competitive. It's within us as human beings. We're limitless. Life is about moments." This talk about AI generated. We'll see.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll see what's in the future. I feel really good here. In Columbus, in parentheses, can one speak in parentheses? And then he crashed through a brick wall and said, "Oh, we."
Ooh.
I like how they said, "I feel really good here," in parentheses, in Columbus. It's like, yeah, obviously not in like his physical seat right now. He's like, yeah, totally separate. This seat is phenomenal.
Well, the statement was
I feel
made
really good
in
here
Columbus.
in this chair that they gave me to answer your questions in.
It's like a Mr. Show sketch. I feel really good here. Oh, you do in Columbus? Is like, no, in the seat. Tis a silly place. No,
what do you guys
I'm
think?
bringing this up, and I cut this because while we were yesterday when we were talking to like Goss and Bogert and all the people, and I'm starting to read these things and people talking about Nancy going, I'm like, because he's like, yeah, because I was like, dude, it's going to be somebody else. It's going to be Patrick Vieira or something like that. He'll take the job. And the body language of the people in the know were just kind of like, yeah, about that. And I was just like, wait, what? And he's like, well, okay, like, and one of them said, hypothetically, like, let's say Nancy were to leave, like, would you like Josh Wolf to come back? And we were all like, what? No, absolutely not. Nobody from Austin is allowed anywhere near Columbus. But all of that, and then now they're coming out and saying like, oh, when Nancy's talking about it, instead of being like, no, like it's, what did he say earlier? It's like coaching a high school team or like coaching internationally wouldn't be his thing. Now he's just like, I'm limitless and, I'm exploring options, whatever. It just doesn't seem like 100%.
Yeah.
And the more I'm reading is people like, yeah, man, it's like
he would hate that job. He would hate that job.
I don't think here's the thing though. This is such a good opportunity for a coach that is not super famous.
I disagree.
Like the amount of people and eyes
on
the world on him.
This job sucks
bananas.
For Nancy.
More than the Columbus
This job
Crew.
sucks for Nancy because the men's national team job and any national team job
international team job is a terrible job.
Any national team job depends on your ability to take talent of a disparate group of players that never play together and turn them into a team
and
that can
inspire them.
that can deliver like a dozen times a year tops. And Nancy, the reason why he is so successful in Columbus is because they are bought in, because this is what they are living and breathing every day, and they are a part of this. It's a culture. And I think you have a really hard time bridging the gap between vision and culture at the national level as opposed to the club level. I don't think he'll have the same success.
It's about. So I'm looking at it going, this guy's an international. He has high hopes for himself, and we think the world of him. The internet thinks the world of him, but he is definitely an MLS coach, and he gets a chance to get in front of the World Cup is the biggest sporting event, period, in the world, period.
And we don't have to qualify for the next one.
We don't have to qualify. He gets to take a team that no one cares about. I mean, a successful tournament for him is really not that successful. Like he gets into the group stage or something like that. Like it's not that big of a deal. But the amount of eyes on him, the amount of press, this is for me, if I were him, I would be like, yeah, I was an assistant coach. I've been a great coach for 2 years at Columbus. Now I get to step into the international stage, coach for 2 years, the U.S. team, and then pivot and go and do something bigger and better. It's not as simple. And it has nothing to do with we think he will be good or bad. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Him trying to implement his system in 3-4-3 this tournament is a bad. I think it's a bad hire.
A good position for him because there are low barriers of entry, and he can just kind of get through it.
But he's around the players 2 times a year.
Correct.
Seems terrible.
It does seem terrible.
I don't think it's a good idea for the U.S. men's national team, but I do think for him getting eyes on him, being cool, I've done 2 years here. I'll do 2 years for the U.S. I will be on the face of everything.
Yeah, but what sort of pedigree is that?
Over the media.
I took over a failing national team.
Yeah, I think
that did nothing in the World Cup again.
We have an inflated
hire me.
view.
It could be bad.
I think the U.S. has an inflated view of national team jobs. I really do. There's other countries that don't think nearly as highly of their national team jobs. And I mean, it's a prestigious position, sure, but would he be better off leaving Columbus and going and coaching a Ligue 1 team or a team in England? Probably. I think that would bring him more prestige than taking the U.S. unless he was able to actually make a run out of the group stage, past the quarterfinals, into the semifinals, and do something that the U.S. has not done in 30 years.
It is 30. It's over 30 years.
That's my point.
We're old.
So if he does something
I don't
like
disagree.
that,
like, I don't
sure.
think it's good. Sure. But it's putting his system in, you know, like what the Columbus Crew do, getting a team to play the way he does in 3 days is like bananas. Like, that's not going to happen. But all I'm saying is, the more I'm reading about it, the more I'm talking to people, like especially on Monday, it made me feel extremely uneasy about him being an option for the men's and national. We brought it up before and we were like, yeah, it's dumb. It's not going to happen. And he said he's not going to leave. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, you know, like, you know, what do you think about this different coach? Like, you know, and like just the body language and posture of everybody, like that kind of understands and knows what's going on. I was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but do you think they know Nancy? Like, that's what, these guys know player transfers. They know player movement. I don't think they know shit about.
I think they hear things that we
what
don't
Nancy
hear,
thinks
and they
or
talk to
feels.
people that are in the know. So,
because the rhetoric has completely changed.
Rumblings on some parts of X have put
Twitter. It's Twitter.
Joseph Biden. He's going to be looking for new United States-centric work in 2025.
it's a hard press.
Anything's possible.
It's a hard press if he'll still be here, but
let's take a break here. When we come back, we have a bird update for the. Is he doing Crew 2? Or are we gonna?
Is plausible.
Oh yeah, Heck is plausible.
I heard that Heck was astoundingly plausible. I don't know that he's going to talk about this, but I know that our next pro East or whatever performed well in the All-Star festivities this week. Let's break here. We'll be right back.
Sorry, I'm here for business. Discord Echo, it's Discord Echo, it's Discord Echo, it's Discord Echo.
Discord.gg/crew96.
That's discord.gg/crew96. Join today.
Hey everyone, Carlos here again. Sorry that my voice is not the smooth as butter tone that you're used to. I'm a little sick, so I'm going to keep this short. Talk about what the Crew 2 did last weekend, but also a couple other things that I think would be of interest. Well, it was the second leg of 3 legs for the Heck is Plausible Derby. That's when the Crew 2 plays FCC2. And on the first one, it was at home for us, and we lost for the first time ever to FCC2. So I think that our guys were coming into this game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and that became pretty evident in the second half. The first half was a pretty tough game. I thought that FCC2 looked better. We scored first, but they tied right away with a really, really good goal. But then the second half started. We made a couple of changes that I thought were really smart. Jacob Green came in for Adrian Gonzalez, who had scored our first goal and has been playing great, but Green helped defeat the very high press that Cincinnati was doing better. I think just because he's a more physical player and he's a little better defending as well. And then Chase Adams. Chase Adams came out. Jacob Green scored our second goal, and then Chase Adams, who I have been saying is great, scored our third, fourth, and participated in some of the plays that led to the other ones as well. Chase also today, on Tuesday, played at the MLS Next All-Star game. He played for the entire first half with another Cappy, Tristan Brown. They played for 45 minutes, didn't score any goals, but looked pretty solid. So yeah, the Cappies beat FCC2 6-1 with an own goal being our sixth goal. I think the team was probably the best performance we've had so far. The last thing that I wanted to bring up is last couple things. Is first, Stas Lapkes did play on the goalie wars. I thought that he looked really good, but ended up losing in the first round of 2. But the dude clearly can take a PK, and I hope that we see him taking some because he can he's really good at those short shots. And then Taha Brun had a world-class performance last night on Monday for the U.S. national team under 20 team. They played Cuba, and he ended up with 2 assists and a goal, and what even national team fans are saying was a great performance, which has to be amazing because they never talk good about anyone. All right. Very cool. Very good week for Crew 2 fans, and I hope it continues to be so. Thanks for having me. Have a good one. Oh, and don't forget to register to vote.
Hey, we're back. Thanks, Bird. Few things to cover. Looking forward to the Olympics.
Yeah, man. Kind of. Oh, good.
I'm sorry, I was incorrect. There was 2 people that died.
He fell into his
Okay, we're not going to talk about what that means.
Talking about that.
Let's just keep rolling. We'll keep rolling. We'll keep rolling.
We're back. Thanks, Bird. Looking forward to the Olympics.
Okay.
Go Patrick. Go Patrick.
Patty Schultz.
Do you think there's someone out there with a poster board that says "Go Patrick"? It's not too late. Okay.
You can change.
I'm glad to have learned about all of the plausibility that happened last week. Speaking of plausible, I'm pretty pumped about the implausibility of our run club success. Sorry.
No, that's actually fine.
I do want to just give some quick shout outs from last week. I know that last week was like even a few days ago now, but our run club last week, guys, we ran 427 miles.
What?
Damn,
yes.
So close.
Yes. So close to what? It wasn't close at all to the week before. We've got more members and we got more miles.
You say 420?
7.
I see what happened.
7 more than that.
7 less than
our fearless leader, Stacy,
ran 400 miles.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the defamation that was spoken about her last week?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
we need to apologize.
We probably sat back a little too much. I said later that we don't ridicule the guests, but we also need to up the president.
We all love Stacy.
Yeah. So shout out to Stacy, who again,
how many did she have?
48 and a half miles.
Okay.
Leading the group in just in status, but also in miles.
Also true.
Do you think she turned it on the plane? Like, check this run out.
No.
Check out these miles.
To Norway. It's like she's running 600 miles per hour.
Have you guys ever left it on and driven somewhere? Like I've looked down and been like, holy crap, I ran like a 4-minute mile. I ran 100
driving very slowly
in a parking lot.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Student driver.
Yeah. So shout out to our fearless leader for putting up very nearly 50 miles last week. Kevin Thompson, Chris Stansel, Francesca C.
I think Francesca is friends with Stacy. They run together.
We've got some new members. We got like several new members. And then Ben, you led the hosts with 25 and a half miles.
Yeah, I
in
missed
your car, driving down the Olentangy.
Yeah, now that we know that you're just driving
on the Olentangy River.
Have you seen all these
the
photos
cars
and videos of people driving on the bike paths?
Oh, yeah.
What
Morgan
is
posted
going
one
on?
today.
Why is that happening?
Because people are idiots.
Drugs?
Because of All-Star Weekend?
That happens at my house.
You can't call it All-Star Weekend because it's during the week. Okay, so shout out to the Run Club. I have done nothing to get us race kits since last week, but maybe I'll have something new. Oh, you have?
I went Monday and talked to Morgan, and he's 100% down. We're trying to decide if we were going to do a shirt, like a run shirt. I want to do like a
If you included me in the discussion, you would have known that we're not going to do that. We're going to do like legit.
Move back.
We're going to do legit like shirts because it needs to be good.
Wait, what do you mean shirts?
Like run like a tank. Like
That's
a run
what
tank.
Oh, like a tank. He was talking about like a good like run moisture wicking. I don't like the word wicking. Shirt. I want a tank top.
Yeah, it's got to be a tank.
Sun's out, guns out.
It's got to be a
tank.
We're talking like one of the tanks that has like holes, like dry fit, like an actual running.
Yeah, like a $50 shirt,
nipple chafing. Total
anti-nipple chafe.
Oh, like
no, they're just red up top.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Did you see these things?
Not
blood absorbing.
Wicking.
Okay, so, all right.
Blood wicking.
I feel like we're zooming in
It's our
a little
metal
too
band
much.
name.
We're zooming in a little too much on the Run Club.
Agree to disagree.
It's gonna take care of the blood.
Man, 427 is gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah. Okay, but you
That's
know
a
what?
lot
We've only ever beaten our record, so
that's
let's
a lot
keep it
of
up.
miles.
I see you out there. I see you out there.
Keep joining. Keep walking, hiking, or running.
So let's move along. The Crew are where they were in third place. I think we need to do a quick review of the tables before we do our mid-season predictions roundup. We only have results from last week for predictions. We are going to do a Villa prediction just for fun, but this will be a good time to kind of see where we stand at about mid-season.
Tables. Just tables. 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 I can't know how to hear any more about tables.
Currently in the Eastern Conference, we have Miami in first place with 53 points, 25 games played.
Not going to make the playoffs.
Cincinnati in second. 48 points, 25 games played. Crew in third, 43 points, 23 games played. RBNY, 41 points, 25 played.
Who says RBNY?
What would you say?
I
Red
did.
Bull?
That's
plural.
Yeah.
NYCFC, that's why. 38 points, 25 games played. Charlotte,
say
37
why.
points,
I said
25
who.
games played. Orlando, 34 points, 25 games played. The new leader in games played, Toronto, in 8th place with 30 points.
The
26
statistic that
games
everyone wanted to
played.
hear was who has
Did
played
anybody
the
see
most
the
games.
new?
Well,
And
we
the
did
winner of the
focus on
season
Miami
is Toronto for playing the
games.
most games.
How many weeks did we focus on?
So if you
Miami
get
playing
a
the
cup
most?
for winning, a shield for like, winning the league, what do you get for most games played? A shoe?
Actually, I think we would probably win that, wouldn't we? If you counted all the
most games played.
I was going to say games we've played.
How did I say it?
Yeah, I kind of tripped over myself because this is obviously league games, but like
Total
we
games.
have probably played more games.
Rounding out the playoff picture, we have Atlanta in 9th place,
Is
28
this on?
points.
Am I muted? I'm muted. I'm muted.
Did you know Red Bull has a new mascot? It's just named Red with 2 Ds.
I'm just going to stop talking about games played, I think, moving
Double
forward,
D.
other than the ones that are off. And so, Supporter Shield, Miami, LA Galaxy, Cincinnati, LAFC, Real Salt Lake is in 5th, and the Crew are in 6th.
Hey, Galaxy has
Contrary to
26
what you may be
too.
thinking, we can hear each other.
For the listeners at home, still friends. Still friends.
We just like to talk about 4 different things
At once.
Let's start it
I'll
over.
pan it so
Let's
like
start it
left
over.
ear is like about weird.
So far, the Crew has cleared every hurdle
Can't be
naysayers have
right.
placed in their way. Columbus would be home to one of the 10 inaugural teams. Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans.
Well, it's boys' night out.
Hello and welcome to the club. I'm Ross Mars. This is the what is this? This is the Upper 90 Club where 4 friends just talk.
Did I have a stroke? What happened? Why are we starting
All right.
over?
Okay,
I
let's get
assume it was because I
into
was
the
like lack of sleep camping.
let's get into the predictions tables. Haas, you have those, right? And Mort's stead, we've devolved. Please tell me you have them.
Deer
Just
in
the
headlights.
standings? Standings of the predictions table?
Well, yeah, because
Standings
there
and
were a few, maybe
pains.
1-2 points in the last couple games?
Yeah. Currently, we have me in last place. 15 points. Suck
That's
it, Mort.
him. It's me.
His name is
me.
Ben is in 4th place with 16 points. Trey
that.
and Mars tied for 2nd, 17 points, and Mort in 1st with 19 points.
Mort.
He's the only one who picked up a point from the last 2 games.
Yeah, he predicted 1-0 Crew
Yeah.
against Charlotte, and he picked up a point because we scored 1 goal. Okay.
Great.
All right. So it's still pretty tight. Hawes, even at the bottom in the basement, you are within
4 points out
striking
of first.
distance. Yeah. Okay.
Meh. It's a close
Okay. Well, do you guys want to put it on the line for Aston Villa against Ozzy Osbourne and all of Black Sabbath?
He did have a solo career.
Just let it go. All right, let's talk about D's
I
next
don't know.
game.
I thought I
You got to think about that.
I'm already sweating.
Man, I don't even know. Like,
Buckle up, Buttercup.
My tongue is sweating.
I'm not good at doing things.
You're dumb.
Ben, you said 2-3 Crew loss.
Oh, yeah. Because who cares? This doesn't count for our secret sauce, right? Our whole thing.
Yeah, it goes towards it.
It's just for fun.
It's just for fun.
As
No,
opposed
it's
to
just for fun.
not for fun, which is our podcast.
No, that's for serious. That's for all the money that we make.
We decided league matches only.
Trey, you said 1-3.
I did.
That's a
Probably
loss,
also.
right?
That is a loss.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oz, you said 1-3. Same as
All
Trey.
5 minutes before traded.
Yep.
The old technicality Oz.
Well, it doesn't mean anything.
All right. I said 2-2. I'm the only one who thinks we're gonna not lose.
I don't know, man.
I guess Mort could think we're gonna not lose, but he's off.
Yeah, he
in some
texted me.
fantasy
He texted me
land.
the score, and I put it up there.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, Mort said 420.
Yeah.
Smoke weed every day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we need a Morgan
He's
just
a
for
Democrat.
that moment. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Too bad he
Did
can't
you say
vote.
he's a Democrat?
Yeah, Spliff Crosby is what we call him behind his back.
Yeah. Yeah. Crosby, Stills, and
Hash.
oh, way better.
I had it.
Mute mine. Just mute mine and then cut it in. Just mute my
man.
track. We'll give you full
Oh.
credit. All right, you guys ready to laugh?
We
got
gotta
to
go on tour.
Here we go. All right. Yeah, you've got everything you need. All right. Hey. Hey. Why did I say hey?
I don't know. Let's get out of here. Oz
Okay.
has to wake up and lift
Hey
and
guys,
work out.
All-Star Week sucks. Leagues Cup maybe fun.
Sucks.
Cool.
I am told that I'm going to be in Columbus in a couple weeks. So if there's a home game, let's
we'll
let's
do a
talk about
live
that.
podcast at Land Grant.
Perfect. I'm going to have 2 kids with me, so it's going to be great.
We'll just quiz
Send
them
out to
about
the-
stuff.
Send them
Yeah.
out to the hoops.
It'll be it'll be like Mohican, right? Okay.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, weird off week here. I hope that Cucho and the Crew contingent can put up a good showing against the Liga MX. I suggested that maybe there could be some unforeseen indigestion on the Mexican team. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You never know.
Some squirrely Taco Bell.
Yeah. Emphasis on the squirrel. But just check your ice, everyone.
Goodness, do.
And
Check
we'll be
your
back.
ice.
We'll be back in a week. So we're playing Villa this weekend, and then is it Leagues Cup immediately after that?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, we've
We
got
get a bye
we've got
through group
buys.
stage, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like we
So
don't
there's
play
our
for a hot
rest.
one. We'll do something fun. We'll shake it up.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in a week or in 3 days because we're so late this week. Go Crew! Go Crew! Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go Crew! The child or the mini?
I thought you meant that's what I thought. Yeah, dang it. I'm not.
Oh, it's a Sienna.